What's going on, everybody? My name is Michael Weer, and this is my movie review for the movie Jurassic World. Now, the Jurassic World came out many years after Jurassic Park, which was in 1993. But this feels like the first official sequel to the original Jurassic Park movie, and I really like this movie. So guys, Jurassic World came out in the year 2015. It is directed by Colin Trevorrow, and it stars Chris Pratt as the main person that's not a dinosaur in this movie. Chris Pratt plays Owen. He's like a raptor trainer. He's really good with animals, dinosaurs, but he can train raptors, those, hunters, those supreme dinosaur hunters. He can train them to, be more friendly with humans. The other person to note in this movie is Bryce Dallas Howard's character, and she is the woman who's kind of in charge of Jurassic World. There's one person higher than her, played by Irfan Khan, and he's the owner of Jurassic World, right? He is the person who took over from John Hammond, took John Hammond's dream to the next level, but he, ultimately, well, he created a disaster theme park. Because of course it turns into a disaster theme park because it's Jurassic World, but it was so good in how they executed it. See, the original Jurassic Park movie, the only issue I have with it, I think in the whole movie there's 5 deaths. You don't get too many more than that. There's just 5 people die in the movie. It is a very good movie. Don't get me wrong, not knocking the original Jurassic Park movie, but my biggest issue was it just, the lawyer died and then the kids managed to survive the whole time, and it was like, okay, there's so many dinosaurs, so much potential, and you killed Newman. Who's going to deliver Jerry Seinfeld's mail now that Newman's dead? But back to the Jurassic World, guys. Jurassic World has a theme park full of people, and I was going into this movie, I was like, yeah, when these dinosaurs get loose, we're going to see the body count really go up, and you see the body count really go up in this movie. There's so many good moments of action in this movie with the dinosaurs versus people. It's just so good. Guys, what you need to know about Jurassic World is that Jurassic World is finally the theme park John Hammond wanted, up and running and working well with no issues. Really no issues. They've managed to get all their electrical things online. They've managed to deal with all of the problems they had in the first Jurassic Park movie. They've managed to deal with here in Jurassic World. But what goes wrong? Well, what goes wrong is they decide to create a brand new dinosaur. A dinosaur that's smarter than all other dinosaurs. A dinosaur that man created completely. They spliced a bunch of different dinosaurs and animals and fish, and they're like, let's throw them all together, and what do we get? We get this super Indominus Rex. Now this Indominus Rex figures out a way to break out of its cage, and when it does, it just starts breaking into everything, destroying everything on the island. It breaks into everything, and when it does, it breaks into the pterodactyl cage at one point, so now you got pterodactyls going everywhere. It's so good. And that scene with the pterodactyls coming down and just wreaking havoc over all those people is so awesome. The villain in this movie, I guess if there's a villain that's not an evil dinosaur, is Vincent D'Onofrio. And Vincent D'Onofrio's character wants to militarize the raptors. So when this Indominus Rex gets out of its cage, he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take these raptors out of their cages and fight them, because what could go wrong by releasing 4 velociraptors? Well, everything could go wrong, because apparently the Indominus Rex is also spliced with a raptor blood, so it can speak to the raptors, and when they bring the raptors to it to fight it, the raptors are like, oh no, we're rolling with this guy, and they turn on the InGen soldiers, and that's a pretty cool scene too. I guess what I like the most about this movie is the fact that it felt like such a great sequel to the original movie. There's some moments in this movie that are like shot for shot, like they're going through, and I think at one point they find old Jurassic Park stuff, and there's like old Jurassic Park Jeeps on the property, or on the island I should say, and it's so cool getting to see all those old things. One of the other highlights in this movie is the original T-Rex. Yeah, they were like, you know what, the original T-Rex from the original Jurassic Park movie never died, he's still alive, and guess what? We're going to use him as the good guy dinosaur at the end of this movie. And the good guy dinosaur he is at the end of this movie, because man, that is an awesome scene between the original T-Rex and the Indominus Rex. The T-Rex really got put on a back shelf in Jurassic Park 3 when the Spinosaurus was just like, grabbed his neck, broke it, and was like, yeah, I'm the big bad in this movie. It really was too. They really trashed the T-Rex in that movie. Messed up. I guess they couldn't have 3 movies in a row where the T-Rex was the big bad, so they skipped the movie. And now you're back to the T-Rex who's like, nah, this is my franchise. The Mosasaurus had something to do with that too. Mosasaurus, wow, that's another highlight of this movie. When he comes up and eats that shark at the beginning, you're like, man, I hope we get to see this guy do a little bit more. And you do. Unfortunately, it's essentially the same thing 2 more times. You see him jump up and eat a pterodactyl who has that girl that they're all fighting for in the air, and he just eats them all, and that's a pretty good scene too. And at the very end, he jumps out of the water and eats the Indominus Rex, and I mean, that was a really cool scene too. I didn't see that coming. They were all fighting, and there's so much going on that I didn't think the Mosasaurus was coming, but when it did, it got me the first time. And every time I watch the movie now, I wait for that moment, and I'm like, that's a good scene. I guess one of the problems I had with this movie is that there's no Jeff Goldblum. Why not? Why was there no Jeff Goldblum in this movie? I know they ended up using him for Fallen Kingdom. I know that now because Fallen Kingdom just came out, and I'm going to do a review for that eventually. But, really? No Jeff Goldblum? I feel like he would have been you know, fun to have. Another issue I have with this movie is the kind of bad guys behind the scene. I mean, you already have dinosaurs getting loose, so do you need to have, like, the evil bad guy plot? I guess to perpetuate sequels you had to, so they brought B.D. Wong back, who is a highlight and kind of a low point in this movie for me, because B.D. Wong played Dr. Henry Wu back in the original Jurassic Park, so it was cool seeing that familiar face again. Back then, he was just like a scientist, right? And now he's kind of like the evil scientist. I mean, he created the Indominus Rex, but toward the movie you see him working with Vincent D'Onofrio's character, and he's like, we're going to pay you, and I'm going to take these samples, and I'm going to make a second movie, because it's, you know, how you got to perpetuate sequels. All in all, I like this movie. I enjoyed this movie, and I've got to give the movie this rating. That's right, this guy was definitely my favorite. So guys, that's a movie review. If you enjoyed this movie review, hit the like button. If you want to share this movie review with your friends, make sure you do that. If you saw Jurassic World and you've got different thoughts or comments, put that in the comment section down below. And finally, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that. Thanks for watching, and that's all I got.